let's get into one of the most interesting parts of the Server Slam, which was Ashava. So we were able to kill Ashava. Um, our first kill was, we had the kind Vamp Witcher came in, raided, like I was streaming, raided and followed and was like, hey, you're looking to take down Ashava? And, we grouped up and we took down Ashava. Now that was on world tier 1. But we were happy that we got it down, and then we went to go help other people because the run went really well. And we had time left at the end of that. And then eventually, I wanted to do it on world level 2, but the smarter thing, especially if you're just trying to get the trophy, is to do it on world level 1 and ensure your trophy. And then I wanted to still do it on world level 2. So I was like, you know what? I need to do this for the glory. I must. And I didn't give up on that. But even before we got the clears, because we did clear on world level 2 as well, before we got the clears, like we did try it the very first spawn, and man, we got dumpstered. Like it was so bad. But with those learnings, we took them and we were like, all right, we need to come up with a plan of action because we really want that trophy. We really wanted the trophy. So, um, we were fortunate enough to not only clear Ashava multiple times, but help other people clear it. So that was really cool. After we cleared it and got the world tier 2. So that was cool too. Um, those are on YouTube, by the way. Like I'll link them if you don't find them on the channel. But anyway, so here's some good things about the Ashava fight before we get into the pain points. I like the 15-minute timer. I think that is great. It feels satisfying being strong enough to take something like that down. It's like you're being rewarded for putting in all that work and being strong. And I love feeling like we're rewarded for being strong after putting in the work. It's really, really cool. Um, like I also love the music. The music was great. It's overall a fun fight. It's a nice intro to like the type of mechanics that you are going to face with enemies in this world, especially the world bosses. So cool, cool. Um, what did you like about the Ashava fight?
Um, so the Ashava fight, to me, the fight felt mostly the same. Um, and which is cool because it's a cool fight. Like the music is amazing. Um, the animations are telegraphed, and if you're paying attention, you got a little bit of knowledge, you can get around them and stuff. Um, it does have the time limit on it. You know, so on the time limit. Um, Really, the Ashava fight is fine. The stuff around the Ashava fight is where the issues come in, right?
All right, we're gonna get into that because don't get me wrong, I love the Ashava fight, but man, the stuff that came with it, the negatives that came with it, oh boy. All right, and let me tell you something. I am an MMO veteran. I have played Korean MMOs. I have played Final Fantasy 14 since, you know, from beginning to like Stormblood. I had to stop because I had to like do life things. But um So I'm not afraid of the grind. Doing primals and like raid content and 14 was like my favorite thing. Doing bosses and Korean MMOs that I played was one of my favorite things to do. But this the Ashava fight has shown so many things that needs to be done before I feel like it gets too toxic for the community. Like, one of the biggest things that this needs, that Diablo 4 needs, period, is it needs some sort of matchmaking method in the game other than clans, because it would make it easier for people who don't want to commit to a clan to get things done or to try to organize them. Like, it needs it. It needs it so bad, because we got really lucky. Like, when Vamp Witcher came in, just random act of kindness, we got super lucky. Everybody isn't that lucky, but to our defense, we did do, like, when we beat it on World Tier 2. um I did ask on Discord if people needed it, but we had one person drop out. Like, boss started, they dropped. I don't know if they got disconnected or whatever, but the rest of the people that we ran with were just random. Like, we ran into the instance, we ran it with those people, and pretty much it was me, Bedtime, and one other person when Ashava started, because the fourth person dropped for whatever reason. So, like, yeah, there needs to be a better matchmaking method. Everyone's not gonna wanna commit to a clan. Like, there's already a a faction of people who are like, I just want to run Diablo by myself. I already don't want to do this whole, have to party up with people to do stuff. So at least make it easier on everybody, especially the people who are having like a rough time either finding people to play with or having to play with people to get this done who don't want to. Like, I mean, realistically, you can go solo Ashava if you want. Like, I don't know if Ashava scales with the number of people. I've heard that it scales up with the number of people. I don't know if it's confirmed, but that also brings us to the next issue, which is like, a lot of people didn't seem to know that when you kill a Shava, you don't get the mount trophy unless you're level 20. So there were a lot of people who are not level 20 just generally around. And like, I get it. I get it. You're gung ho. You put in all this time. You've been trying to do what you can. You want to test your power. Fine, fine. But it got really toxic. Like, because especially after the first Ashava and when people realized how difficult it was, it got just really toxic on Reddit, on Discord, like, what little game chat I saw there too, because people don't really use the game chat. Like, it got so toxic. Like, I, I, oh man, people were asking for DPS meters. Um, people were asking if you're not level 20 to just be boxed out of the area when it starts. Um, there was even, it got so bad that people were even suggesting, hey, make sure you turn off. And I don't know if people were trolling or not when they said this, but they're like, make sure you turn off the crossplay so you don't matchmake with anyone on console.
Jesus Christ.
Like, it got so bad for this damn mount trophy. And I'm just like, oh no, oh no. Like, the inclusion of matchmaking would help so much in these instances. Um, It would. And also, maybe what they need to do is like on the spawn timer, they need to show like what the rewards are and the stipulations to getting the rewards for the boss, like, or whatever rewards for the boss on like the timer thing that you can hover on. Also, hello. Um Pillow just entered. Hello, Pillow. But yeah, maybe they need to do that. Um, the whole DPS meter thing, no. Like, y'all know that's gonna turn toxic. If anything, maybe they can just have like DPS meter for yourself. But you know, when you can see what everyone's doing, it's gonna turn toxic. And you can make the whole competition argument. No, leaderboards are coming out. There's your competition. Like, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. That's not what we're gonna do. You know, that's not gonna really help anyone. So, I what are your thoughts? Because this is a huge pain point, like the way this whole Ashava thing unraveled. What are your thoughts?
I think it's on Blizzard to curate the community. Some content creators have taken it upon themselves to attempt to curate the community on these regards, and I don't think it's the community leaders' place to do that, to like tell people how they should feel about what they are already actually feeling. So but the developers can mitigate a lot of that by putting some hard rules in place, right? Like if the people can't get into the area, then they can't troll the group by being in there underleveled. If they don't have enough information to know that this venture wouldn't be fruitful for them, then there could be like an information ticker, or an information board, or there could just be a notification if they're approaching the Ashava area. If they're like about to get in there, like right around that threshold, there could be a message that pops up on the screen that's like, I don't know how they would word it, probably in some Diablo-ish type of way, but they could just be like, you're participating in this run, you won't get any loot for it unless you're level 20 or something to that extent, like in some cool Diablo type of way to give you that message. Now I get that kind of would take away from the immersion a little bit, but
Yeah.
like, which poison would you rather have? Would you rather have 3 level 15s in your level 20 run that are unaware that they wouldn't benefit from it anyway, and they're actually the only thing that they're accomplishing is making things harder for the people that are of level? Or would you rather have your immersion, you know, suspended that little teeny bit? If my character could sit there and tell me that they don't have enough resource over and over, and I got to deal with that breaking my immersion, then they can get a little message that just says, "Yo, you're not gonna get no loot, bro, if you do this." So you know what I'm saying? You're just making this harder on your fellow man. You know what I'm saying? And then as far as meters and stuff like that, to see me, I like the idea of having like a dummy in the game that I can check my DPS and stuff like that. I think there was one in TOF. I thought that was mad cool. I know a lot of games do have something like that. I think base Fantasy Star Online 2 had that. I don't know what's going on with NGS, but the we had something like that we can like check our combos and make sure we're being optimal within some set space of time, then that'd be what's up. But like, fighting a boss and being able to see who did the most and who did the least and all that. Like at the end of the day, I ain't gonna have nothing to worry about. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be thumping regardless. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right. We
But
have nothing to worry about because we
as
usually do.
yeah, but as someone that will tend to trend towards being one of the higher DPSers, I don't really gain nothing from looking at the little guy that's not really geared up yet, or that don't have the execution down, and seeing that they was at the bottom. The concern is not so much the people being at the top. The concern is the people being at the bottom, right? You want to be like, dag, like I had this person on my squad that was dragging me down. It's always coming from a negative perspective. Instead of having that, like if you could have it just for yourself, so you can look at your damage and be like, all right, I did, whatever millions of damage. I know I'm chilling right now. I'm doing all right because I know the top performers at this get this much damage roundabout, yada yada. If that's what floats your boat, it's whatever. But if we clear the boss and then it's gonna be like some chart that pops up, like in there was a game called That what was that Square Enix game that I used to play that was like a shooting type
Hmm.
RPG type joint?
Oh gosh. Um,
I can't remember the name of the
I
game. It was a
can't
Square Enix
remember.
John. But yeah, like it'll come to me randomly. But yeah, like in that game, you would finish the run, and then they would tell you what your stats were, like everybody that was participating in the run, and so you would see very clearly that somebody didn't like didn't pull their weight, and you like, damn man, if I ain't had this bull right here, man, I would have. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It just don't help. Yeah, like if anything, if I'm the one that has all the time on my hands and I got all the know-how and all that stuff, I feel like if we fail and I was supposed to carry everybody, I need to get better. Not the worst player needs to get better. Of course, it's brain, you know what I mean, it's brainless. If the worst player gets better, you would have got that clear. But if you get better, you get the clear too. So throughout the weekend during the server slam, the whole time, like we failed, like I think we failed like our first two Ashava attempts.
Yeah.
Every time we came out of there, I was like, damn, I need to get stronger. And the only thing that was making me frustrated about the server slam at that point was that I couldn't see a clear path to getting stronger because the skill tree at that point was capped off, right? We couldn't find no legendary weapons, right? And we only had access to a very small amount of aspects. Some class, I mean, heck, Barb ain't even have access to their class skill. So it felt, and then you add to that Ashava that was 5 levels over, like over the players. So
Oh
it felt like
yeah.
the deck was stacked against the players that were trying to clear the Ashava. So it really felt like unless you either got really lucky with a bomb squad or you had some farming methods that were effective and realistic, or you got really lucky with your drops. Because I think what to that point on day one, me and Amethyst played like 11 hours, like
Mhm.
OD, like 11 hours, and I got the two legendaries from the story, right? I think one of them is like automatic. It's
Yeah.
always the same. And then I didn't get any more. I got one in like the 11th hour from an Oboe exchange. And then she got one drop. So when we went to the Ashava, we thinking, all right, we're going to be doing something. Touch the Ashava. We already know the matchup, all this stuff. Nah, bro. Like that Ashava, it wasn't putting hands on us. Like we was beating it up. But at the end of the run, we had only taken like maybe 30% of his HP, 40.
No, no. The to our defense, the first time we did it, I think it was down to like almost half. I
Yeah,
think so.
so then the second run, we're like, all right, we're just gonna run it back in 3 hours. So we tried to gear up, not too much changed in that 3 hour window, even though we are playing nonstop. Went back in, and the run felt so bad that I left the run. I I literally was like, babe, I can't do this. I can't do
Yeah,
this. I gotta go
yeah.
find another run. I'm looking at the time, and I'm like, we already lost half the time, and we're only like 25% through at half the time. I'm like, I'm gonna go see if I can find another room. And literally, I left to go find another room, found another room, and they were having the same issue. And I'm like, man, like this is all the players are going to point their fingers at each other and they're going to
Yep.
look at the players that were under leveled and all of that stuff. This is all on the developers. Like
Yeah.
we didn't have the ability to get strong enough to reasonably do this or realistically do it. And instead of feeling like a reward for participating in the server slam to some degree, because you don't want to just be a participation trophy, it felt more like this was for the exclusive people that were able or that knew a little something, something. You know what I'm saying? This was a carrot that was kind of put out there. And then the people that knew a little something, something would be able to go get that. And then everybody else would be able to look at them in admiration and be like, damn, you was actually able to do that. You know what I'm saying? Come on now. So, yeah, I felt the way about the stuff that surrounded the Ashava fight and the impact that it had on the community and our unity and stuff like that. But as far as the fight itself, banging music, banging boss, real big. The only mechanical thing I don't like about the boss, now this might be a me problem, but when the
Okay.
boss moves down to like the center middle, like the lower middle region of the screen, like around where your skills are and stuff,
Yeah.
it's hard for me to move down there. Like if I wanted to walk down towards the boss is taking up so much of the lower middle region of my screen that I can't walk down there without like either clicking something from the interface or without actually clicking the boss, and now I'm shooting range attacks at it instead of running to get in position. So whenever the boss moved down towards like the lower middle region of my screen, I had to use my dash. It was the only way I could reliably get down there and get back into the sweet spot. So, um, but again, that might be a mechanical thing because if I anticipate that the boss is going to move down there, I could start moving in that direction ahead of time, and then I won't have that issue because I already have the location clicked up. So, so maybe a little bit more mechanical on me, but I think also someone during the last beta had made a comment that they wanted a button that they could hold to disable attack, so that way they could just move. And perhaps that was already in the beta, but because I didn't explore the options, I couldn't find it. So, if anyone's in the comments and they're hearing this portion of the video, if you know how to disable the attack in favor of movement, let me know so I can toggle that when the game comes out and I don't have that problem anymore.
Yes, 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 yes. Please let us know. Um, okay, so just wanted to touch on a couple things because there's still more to this Ashava thing that I want to at least cover. Um, so first and foremost, when it comes down to like the whole DPS thing, easy way to do that, make it so you can see your own and give recognition and maybe even a little bit of some sort of like reward to the top deeps, so it's like, hey, this person had top, you get like this many obols because you were the top. So that way, or some sort of special title or something, to make people feel like there's something to aim toward, because I have seen instances where there were people who were low level who were just standing on the outskirts and they didn't do anything. Like, that happens and it's unfortunate, but it is one of those things where since I've played so many like MMOs and things of that nature, like, I've seen how people might do things. There's going to be good and bad when you bring in bosses, world bosses, raids, those type of things. But I think showing everyone's stats, no, but showing the individual stats of the person and then giving recognition for those who did really well, that's good. And that could put a positive light on things, so people get some recognition and you get your little bit of, I did this, I'm big dog and whatever. Sure. Um but like this whole thing, if you played Fantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis, if anyone played it, this whole thing reminds me of when Gigantics first came out. Now, if you're not familiar with Gigantics or PSL, let me explain how this worked when it first came out. So, everyone was super stoked because there was going to be this big boss that spawned in the area, and like the lobbies were like 32-man lobbies. Boss is going to show up, you have to beat it, and you get a chance at getting like this really cool weapon that you need. So everyone is like geared up, ready to go for this boss. There were some stipulations. First things first, the boss shows up when certain weather happens. It had to be storming. So it had to be storming, but you didn't know when it was going to storm. There was no tells at all, and until it actually happened. So you had to wait for the weather to change, and you never knew when it was going to happen. Two, the storms had various lengths, so they were not all the same amount of time during the storm. So when the storm goes away, this thing goes away too. So you have to down it. You don't know how much time you have to down it, and like, it has to be the duration of the storm. So you're like, okay, well, you have 32-man lobbies. If people are geared properly, it's not going to be an issue. The other issue, you had to be a certain level in order to do damage to this thing. If you were, I believe, if like, they eventually did change this, but if you were not the appropriate level to do damage to this thing and you were under leveled, then your hits wouldn't count. You would just do ones to this thing, but the boss would scale up. So your presence would make like your presence, and you could be like far away from it. But if the thing randomly spawned on you, which it has a tendency to do in that area, and you're like under leveled to the point where you do ones, it still would count your presence to the health of the boss, which made it harder to kill because it would make it have a higher health pool. So, oh man, people got so like, I think that was the first big taste of toxicity in NGS that we saw for something that was supposed to be just oh so exciting. Because like it got to the point where people would see like lower level people around and they would immediately be like, you need to leave. You cannot be here. Like, we don't care if you were here farming or if you were killing things for a quest. Leave now. We don't need you here. You're just going to make things worse. It was really bad. And, you know, people were being toxic to each other when realistically it was the devs' fault. Like, that's why I said eventually the devs did change the way that it worked to make it better for the community as a whole because things just got so toxic. And like this Ashava thing just had shades of that all over it. It was really bad. Um but another thing about this. You mentioned participation award. There was a thread in the Discord that was saying that people who just attempted Ashava should still get the trophy mount, like the mount trophy. They should still get it for even attempting. Y'all might not like me for this. I don't think that should happen. Like, I'm I'm not saying that you shouldn't get some sort of special prestige or recognition. Like maybe you can get a title because
Idol, yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
or maybe you can get like um I would say a title and maybe like something lesser that you can get for one time. Like I don't know, maybe like a cosmetic, like a little cosmetic for not for your horse or anything, but like just for you, maybe some sort of cosmetic, maybe. Or maybe going off of my other idea, like if you're top DPS, then you get a cosmetic or something. But I think at the very least, if you're gonna do like a any sort of participation award for that type of thing, it should not be the thing that people are really striving to get. Um, and have put in so much time and effort into getting like you shouldn't just get the participation. Like it has to feel special. It still has to feel special. Like that's one of the things I like about the battle. You're rewarded for getting it down. That's one of the things I did like about Gigantics. Like when you did get it down, it felt really good because you're like, holy crap, after all this adversity, we were able to do it. So the mount trophy is like that big holy crap I did it. Like that's going to stay with you the life of the game as something that's a reward. It shouldn't go to people who just like showed up and let's say they don't do anything or they showed up and they're not even the right level to attempt it, at most get a title, but the actual horn, no, that's not cool. um
Yeah, if anything, I feel like it should be the other way. Like if you fight a Shava and you die and you fail, then the next time you go to fight a Shava, he has like your character's head stuck in his teeth or something. It's kind of like implying like you came and you saw, but you didn't conquer yet. Like a Shava still got your number for now.
oh, that's funny. Sheesh. But but yeah, like the Ashava fight was cool. I will say that someone had asked me this on Twitter. They were like, you know, um what did you get from world level 1 to world level 2 when you beat it? You get maybe 1 or 2 legendaries. The first time you beat it, you get, like, the legendary cache. My legendary cache had rocks in it, so it was like a big womp womp. I was like, "What? That sucks. Blizzard, you need to, like, fix that. I should not just get some rocks that I can find, like, anywhere in a legendary cache from Ashava, so that's pretty trash." I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. But, you know, you still do get your 1 or 2 legendaries, and you get some, I think I got like a broken prism or something like that. I think it was the prism thing that allows you to add a socket, so that's cool. And you get your gold, so I'm like, "All right." Overall, a lot of thoughts on the Shava, but you know, that's pretty much where I stand on it. And I say that because we still have to get into another point. But was there anything else you wanted to say about the Ashava fight before we move on to the other interesting point?
Nah, I'm good. A question for you though.
Yeah.
Would you be tight if the horn found its way to be obtainable post launch in any way, shape, or form?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's even if it's through still killing a Shava, but you know, post launch.
Yes. Yes, because as far as I'm concerned, like for helping slam the server, that's and like doing a challenge where a lot of people just weren't able to do it. Yeah, that should be limited to people who cleared it. Like it makes it more special that way. And you know, what I'm hoping is that eventually they do like a I don't know, like an instance room or something where maybe if you don't want to put something on your mount,
Yeah.
eventually you can put it in the room, although probably would have the Ashava thing on the mount. But a nice instance room like that you can have that's kind of like your personal quarters where you can hang up all your stuff if you want would be really cool. But um I digress. Like, yeah, I would be pretty tight. It's special. It's supposed to be for this. Let it be for this. Let it be for the people who cleared it. Keep it moving.